Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bitcoin Byte. Welcome to Bitcoin Byte. Thank you so much. I know that many of you could have been doing something else today, but today is Wednesday, right? But you choose to be on Bitcoin Byte. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you for your interest also. I know that some of you may be feeling down, right? You're feeling depressed about what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin price has gone down quite a bit. Many are concerned. And what's the reason for the drop? Should we be worried? What do we do, right? Most important, this is a discussion for today. My name is Richard Tan from Success Resources. We are the world leading education provider. Every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is streamed live on Facebook and YouTube, and also on Spike, right? Spike and Facebook. Spike, okay, I think so, right? So now we will be making video about cryptocurrency investing and Bitcoin. If this is a topic that you'd like to learn more about, make sure you subscribe to the channel, gently tap on the thumbs up and help us to forward this to your friend too. And of course, click on the notification bell so that whenever we have a video, you are the first to know. I'm very delighted to bring my friend, Dr. Clemen Chiang, to the program. He is no stranger to many of you and many people out there because he is an authority in financial investing and also a well-known teacher and coach to many thousands of students all over the world. Welcome, Dr. Clemen.
Wow, thank you so much, Richard. Thank you for having me in the show. And I'm so excited. Today, we're going to talk about this guy called Moses opening up Red Sea.
Yeah, blood all over the place. Blood all over the place. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Now, I know many of you guys felt a bit down and depressed about what's going on with Bitcoin because over the last few days, Bitcoin price has gone down all the way to 40 and even below 40, right? So there are many concerns. And what are the reasons for the drop? So this is a discussion that we are going to discuss today. So Dr. Clemen, refer to the Bitcoin chart, right? Starting from Monday, I believe, Bitcoin price has been dropping. Question for you is, what is the reason for the drop? And what is your take on this drop in Bitcoin price?
Wow, what a great question to start off for today's show. And I'm sure everyone is so nervous, anxious, and kind of feeling lost, deer in the headlight kind of situation. Why did the price of Bitcoin drop drastically over the past few days? So I'm going to switch my screen right over here and let's kind of check it up, all right? So we always start from the beginning of the foundation. This is the price of Bitcoin, and we always start off with the beginning year 2021. I kind of organized my chart so that it sits really, really beautiful like this, all right? Something just like this, and then we're going to see the candles appearing. Okay, so this is how we look at the chart. And from this chart, always step one, we go to the all-time high. Now, in the all-time high, right over here at the top here, we are capturing about 64,854. And this was the all-time historical high. Now, we always have to look at this all-time high, kind of keep our vision in sight. And then we kind of move it down on the same side, and we say how much more gap for us to kind of go back to the previous all-time high. So today we are situated right now at 42,000, or you call it 42222, all right, for easy memory. And then we say, what does it take to go up to the previous all-time high? Now, this is always the setup. And once we see setup, we kind of zoom into this period right now. The previous time when we was close to the all-time high, it was trading at 52,920. And back then, we give very clear coverage that it's just a little bit more, bam, we're going to hit $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, and that's about 53,000 plus. It failed to touch the $1 trillion market cap, and then it started crumbling down. So this crumbling down, this whole drop, boom, the first big candle drop from 53 down all the way to 43 is about $10,000 drop in one day. And then kind of float around, and I'm going to draw out the range for everybody to understand what is the real solid range we are looking at right now. is the 48 to 44,000 range. All right. So that was the range we were expecting it to kind of straddle along that range or the channel. But then suddenly it went on a further drop right here. And right now we kind of touched 40,000 and floating at 42222. There are three primary reasons for this major drop. And number one is the whole what we call the crazy outburst right here happening in China. The second largest property company, Evergrande, kind of going to default on their payments. So we're going to let you see the key reasons where every media is talking about right now. For Evergrande, they are going to default on their bond payments, and that kind of they call it the Lehman effect. And because Lehman effect was the first property giant to collapse in 2008 financial crisis. So they kind of market kind of link Lehman to China Evergrande, and everybody start to get spooked up by it. So number one, the property firm failed to deliver on his loans. That's the step one of the reason. Number two, all these individual investors, in order for them to liquidate their position, they kind of spiral into a major fear factor. And especially we know there are many Chinese traders who are trading on Bitcoin and altcoins. They start to sell. And when they start to sell, this is the effect. And the good news is that when they start to sell, this whole dumping down right here, there is continuous selling until what we are really looking out for is the green candle. So finally, did we see a green candle yesterday as well as today? Yes, that is the big green candle holding the fort. Meaning to say there's a change of the musical chairs. There's always someone fearful who are selling, then there's always someone who's greedy who are buying, and thereby putting a halt to the spiral down. And while you're looking at the halt of the spiral down, I show you the latest, as of the latest article as we present the show right now. Here we go. This is the latest. China's Evergrande says deal reached to avoid default on key bond. So looks like step number three, which every analyst out on Wall Street is expecting and predicting, the Chinese government will eventually step in to stop this domino effect, to stop this ripple effect. Because if this goes out of hand, let me tell you, there'll be major uprising in China. And I don't think Emperor Xi wants to see that, all right? So this is the immediate key step that came in about 4 hours ago, all right? So if we say, okay, such a interesting development came in 4 hours ago, we go back and refer back to our chart one more time. Here we go. And once we turn back to look at our chart here, and then we kind of check out the price, right now it's 42,333. Easy to remember. This is holding the fort at this moment. Meaning to say, from step 3 onwards, would there be more fears kicking in? And this is always the situation when there is fear in the market. Those who are very fearful get out. Those who are very greedy come in. And I want to relate everybody to the month of February, March 2020. So I'm going to take this same chart. I kind of move it sideways, all right, and give everyone the real context. Here we go. We go back to February, right over here. And you see for yourself, this was back then the major drop. Back then, the previous high, 10,500, we kind of mark it down. Back was the kind of an all-time high. And then it kind of dropped to the 3,782. Again, for many other reasons that came out, there is always this kind of volatility expected. And that's the reason why we encourage all of you, if you are sitting on nice profits, always put a stop limit order. So I hope that will address all of your concern, thinking that, oh, is this going to be a forever drop? Let me tell you, it's not going to be a forever drop. At this stage that we are looking at, holy moly, there's so many institutions, so many players, sovereign wealth funds, including countries buying up Bitcoin at this moment as we are presenting the show to you. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. So, well, we are going to address a lot more on this price thing later on. But the thing here is this, what are the development that shows positive adoption of Bitcoin currently right now? With the Bitcoin price drop, should we be worried? Or, okay, personal question to you, are you worried?
No, I'm not worried at all, Richard, because this is a game plan. You always think about Bitcoin as buying your first party Philip. You never really own one, you merely hold on for the next generation. So if you come in with this perspective, the right perspective, this is like no different from buying a child's insurance. Like for example, my 3 boys, the moment they were born, the very first week, bam, activated my banker, report to me in the hospital, buy insurance for them. And with a blink of an eye, 10 years gone, 12 years gone, just passed by, and I finished paying off their insurance premium. Bitcoin is the same. You got it, you buy it, you think about 10, 20 years, and that's it, live it. The only thing I must remind all of our viewers is this: never ever sell at a loss. Don't do that. Thinking that you're going to sell at a loss, buy at a low price and hoping the guy go up. No, don't do that. That's the reason why we spend a lot of time studying the price of entry. What is the psychological price? Kind of anchor down our thinking. And we've given you guys so many anchors, 40 episodes of the YouTube videos. Holy moly, Richard and myself give you 40 episodes of real solid anchors. Every single presentation of the YouTube or the live video, we are telling you every single dot that we are connecting. And this is really just part of the norm of the game. But what is really, really exciting is that it can drop so fast, it can also rise equally as fast. That's what we witnessed for those of us who are playing Bitcoin since 2017, 18, 19, 20. This is the journey. So if you don't look at this as a generational wealth asset, and you think of it trying to time it, buy, sell every day, you're going to get caught. Psychologically, you're going to be weakened. And that's the reason why I feel today there's like a Red Sea, and Moses arrived and kind of opened up the Red Sea. Finally, you guys see a green candle for the first time. And while you're going through the Red Sea, I think, Richard, it's important that we remind everybody that don't get hammered on your psychology. There's nothing wrong with you. With any one of us here holding on to Bitcoin, don't start beating yourself up. That is a wrong approach. Think of it as, this is something I'm going to learn today. This is a wisdom I'm going to acquire and pass on to my grandchildren when I sit on my rocking chair and tell them, hey, grandpa back then been there, done that. And today the Bitcoin you're holding on was because on that day when I was with Richard, Uncle Richard, we're sitting together watching YouTube and telling everybody don't sell at a loss. So I think this is the approach that we should adopt together. Thank you, Richard.
So what are the development that shows this positive adoption? Is there institution in the countries, and can you show us some of this adoption and that happened lately that support this?
Oh yes, Richard, this is one of the biggest turnaround ever since this statement came out, kind of legitimized what exactly is Bitcoin all about, right? This is directly from Securities Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler, right? So I want to highlight to everybody right here, he is saying that Bitcoin is a catalyst for change. No other government official has come up with a better, stronger statement than this. Finally, we kind of been accepted. Instead of him opposed to Warren Buffett calling Bitcoin a rat poison, all right? At least this is catalyst for change. So wise up, everybody. This is from the government. And I think it's very important because most of the concerns that are running around today in mainstream media all the way to social media is that perhaps the government is going to shut it down. Perhaps this whole thing is going to become illegal overnight. No, it is too big. It can't fail like this. And especially with Gensler coming up, he's scratching his head. How do I regulate in a way that protects the ordinary man in the street? Knowing for the fact that most Americans already own Bitcoin. Most Americans already step into cryptocurrency. So they are figuring a way out. They are going through that process. And these are what we call the low-hanging fruits. All this while, Number one, Bitcoin ETF. And there are two parts to Bitcoin ETF. There's a futures ETF and there's an authentic Bitcoin ETF, all right? This is up for grabs. In fact, the latest news show that in the month of October, most likely Bitcoin futures ETF will likely be approved. In the month of November will be the Bitcoin ETF itself will likely be approved. And the whole Congress right now is zooming into this area, making sure that while we are trying to regulate, there's another giant about to launch the coin, and that's none other than Facebook DM. That giant once launched is 2.9 billion people affected overnight. It's no longer about China alone, all right? That's about the whole world's population. So there are many such triggers that's happening, and that's the reason why it's so important for all of you to stay tuned with us in this Bitcoin movement together towards the global Bitcoin festival. Every step, as the market evolves and unravels in front of us, we go in to understand and decipher, okay, is this good or bad? Okay, how do we manage our fear and greed? Okay, what's our emotion right now? Positive, negative? Okay, how many okays you want to have? Most importantly, internalize it and realize that three very important information. Number one, here we go. We got a country that's called El Salvador. And in the drop, he's coming in to buy more Bitcoin. Holy moly. All right. And this is the president, and his name is Nayib Bukele. I hope I got the name pronounced correct. And what he's saying right here is, we just bought on the deep, mama. And this is like 20th of September. So if we go back to the charts, right, 20th of September, I will show you exactly which candle is that. 20th of September, whoops, one more time. 20th of September is exactly this long candle right here. While it dropped from 47 to 43, President went in to buy more Bitcoins. And you know, this is he's putting his entire political life on the line. Because people can see the live price. Hey, President, do you buy at a low price or high price or middle price or average price? What crazy price did you buy it? Obviously, he's right now in the red because the green candle right now is floating below 43,000. So he's putting his entire political life on the line, number one. Number two, you have a government official right here who's looking seriously into Bitcoin as a catalyst for change. This is big, 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 all right? So you have a president, head of a country, you have the head of a government agency in US, and the last but not least, you have the institutions. Half of the institutional investors today own Bitcoin, all right? And for them to own Bitcoin, this is mega, mega huge. I want to kind of zoom in right here and let you see and read for yourself. Here we go. And this paragraph, I think, is more than very, very important and more than what you're imagining it to be, all right? More than half of institutional investors, 52%, currently own Bitcoin or other crypto assets, according to major research by Fidelity Digital Assets. And as noted by Simon Peters, a cryptocurrency analyst on the eToro platform, what is he telling us? The Institutional Investor Daily Asset Study published annually shows that the events of last year were the main driving force behind the acquisition of cryptocurrencies by institutional investors. Now, typically institutional investors, just for most of you who do not know about us, we are specialists into insider trading, especially by family office, hedge funds, money managers, the likes of Warren Buffett, George Soros, and so on. They don't go in like buy today and sell tomorrow. No, they go in, do a proper capital allocation and say, look, I expect this guy to go up in 5-10 years time. That's it. And they'll just hold it there. Why? Because they have the financial power to hold through time. This is where the ordinary man difference is so much differentiated from an institutional professional trader. Ordinary man is always rushing for time. I need to get in today. Next day, I want to get out. And they couldn't enlarge their time because they got expenses to pay off and all that stuff. All right. So that's the reason why we keep telling everybody, please look at Bitcoin as an asset class. You want to hold it for your next generation. And once you stretch this timeline out, you know what? All this daily movement, volatility, weekly, monthly, doesn't make sense anymore. You just say, okay, I'm just in it for the long run. And that's how you condition yourself on the psychology side of things. I hope this can help all of you today.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. You know, it's very interesting that you mentioned that Bitcoin is an asset, right? A store of value of asset. And one of the most popular store of value of asset is gold. Now, from ancient time, from the kings and emperor, people, they all keep gold as a store of wealth, and then later on, of course, in a modern, not that modern time, big countries, the European countries, China, America, they all have gold, and later on they get rid of this, as a store of value. Now, I want to ask you this question. Everybody say that Bitcoin is digital gold. Yeah, it's digital gold. No, so what's the difference between investing in gold, physical gold, and Bitcoin? Now, question for you is, which is better and why?
Wow. That's a really, really powerful question. And you know what? I'm already putting my thinking into this asset class called gold. In fact, it was during the 2008 financial crisis, my banker came to me and said, hey, Dr. Clemen, you know what? This is the best time you should get into gold. And looking back on hindsight, I want to show you how's the performance of the traditional gold, also called the gold chain that we are wearing, the gold, all right? So I'm going to switch over right now to the gold chart. And it is important that you all see it at face value, because once you see the gold chart, then you understand, hey, actually, maybe it's not that exciting after all, So step one, how do we look at a gold chart like this? I'm going to kind of move over here. Step one, we're going to capture on the bottom left corner, all right? That was in the year 2010. Now, why was that year really, really important to us? Because that was the time for the first time gold touched $1,000. So I'm going to kind of move right here, $1,000, and move it to the right. And then you can see, okay, that was in the year 2010, okay? And then we say, what's the highest that you ever traveled from that $1,000 worth of gold, then the highest peak? And the highest peak right now, I'm going to move it exactly right here, top right-hand corner. You guys can see it. And then I point the arrow, and it's pointing at $2,000. That was the highest point. And from that point, I kind of drop a line vertically down and say, which year did it actually touch when it was at $2,000? And you got the answer right there in front of you. That was in the year 2020. Holy mama! It means that if you entered to buy gold in the year 2010, you buy at $1,000 at the peak. You have to wait 10 years later just to make 2x. The fiscal meaning of 2x means 100% profit in return. All right, that's the meaning of 1,000 multiplied by 2, that's $2,000. All right, so this is what you're getting right now. And thereafter, what is the latest current situation? Gold at a high of 2,000. Right now, it kind of go down to 1,008. It's not going up anymore. All right, so that's the reason why there is a demand right now for digital gold 2.0. People are saying that, hey, the traditional gold is so heavy. If I buy the actual gold bar, I got to find a place to store it. I got to come up with expenses to manage the security of my gold bars and hide it somewhere, because I cannot be carrying gold bars around when I'm flying to different countries or running away from my domestic country, just for example's sake, all right? But digital gold 2.0 offers 3 unique distinctions. Number one, Bitcoin is extremely mobile. And how many of you have actually tried to deposit and withdraw Bitcoin, and it happens in less than 15 minutes? Boom. And that's it. The entire movement of Bitcoin is just boom. 15 minutes is move out, move in. Now, I've done that myself with $1 million worth of Bitcoin, and I've seen it. I have to prove to myself, no fear in that movement. because you have to wait for 15 minutes for it to move from one exchange to another exchange, and you kind of feel it. Wow, this is really powerful. If you ask to move traditional gold bar, can you do that in 15 minutes? No way, man. All right, so number one. Number two, the performance of it. Are there more people, I'm talking about the whole population on planet Earth, interested in getting into digital gold 2.0? And the answer is yes, because it's been compounded every year, hundreds of percent every year, going up. And in the last 40 episodes of our videos, we have shown you country adoption, nationwide adoption, millennial adoption. Everybody is pushing the number up like crazy. As a result, the testament to that, Bitcoin hit $1 trillion market cap for how long? 12 years only. None of the mega cap companies that we see out there, from Microsoft to Facebook to Saudi Arabia, Emirates to Amazon, none of them come close to 12 years. The closest is Facebook. Took 17 years to hit $1 trillion market cap. So that's kind of a certain and verify that, oh, there's a global adoption, right? So we talk about movement, we talk about global adoption. And number three, this is the era we are living in right now. To formally accept it as a digital 2.0 asset class. And this is the moment which will happen within the next few weeks. If you guys just hang on in there, don't ever sell at a loss, all right? And that is what? The acceptance of Bitcoin ETF that will open up the floodgates to every single ordinary Americans out there to participate in this digital gold 2.0. So as you can see, we are looking at thinking at all these different points. I just bring out the three major salient points for you to ponder about. But there are many other things that we are looking at, most primarily falling on PS, I love you, right? Payment as a form of payment, and S as a store of value. So these two things are consistently worked out by the community for those of us in the blockchain, and we are excited about its future development. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. Well, it's very interesting that you mentioned that gold, which is a precious metal, appreciate by 2x, 100% in 10 years. That means actually about 10% per year. Can you show us, since you're on the line and then you have the chart there, now show to all our 100 over viewer here, what if compared to Bitcoin 10 years ago and today, what's the growth as compared to gold?
Wow, that's an enlightenment, Richard. We're going to straight away, I'm going to duplicate the chart so that we can kind of see it side by side, and straight away right now I'm going to present to all of our audience BTC-USD, and that's the chart we are looking for. And here we go. I want to arrange it in such a way that it's going to kind of present it like side by side to next to each other. And I'm going to move myself out of the picture. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to go to like 2010, but we can't go back that far for Bitcoin on the right hand side. We're going to start it kind of around like 2017. All right, so I'm going to move it like 2017 to be exact. Okay, it's around like this. So here we go. I'm going to present to you all the movement. Starting from 2010, that's for the physical goal, and it kind of go up, go down, ding, 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 ding. And then finally today at 1,008. How about Bitcoin? So ready for the journey? Here we go. 2017 hit an all-time high, 19,000, kind of move down, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, and move between 5,000 to 10,000. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. And then from 10,000, boom, all the way to 64,000. And then ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, come down, boom, all the way to 50,000. And you see the major comparison between these two charts. What is that? If you are holding out, like, for example, 2017 to 2022, which is like 5 years, it gives you like this kind of exponential growth. Look at the digital gold. 5 years, it can't even give you 2x. This is how we compare. You all need to know how we compare the returns over time. And then if you look at the volatility, ding dong, go down. But the volatility, you just bite the bullet like 2018, kind of flatten out 2019, 1 year, 2020, 2 years, 2021. Within 3 years, boom, it shot up. How about for gold? If you buy at a high, you're stuck for 10 years. It's not talking about 3 years to break even, 10 years to break even. If you enter the high here, all right, you're going to wait for 10 years just to break even. So we are looking at two very important factors. Number one, fear factor. If you are fearful, you think about break even. All right, how long does it take for me break even for gold? 10 years. Bitcoin, less than 3 years. If we're talking about greed factor, how much can I possibly make? I also shown you on the left-hand side, gold, take 10 years just to make 2x. 2x, all right? And then if you look at 2017, back then it's trading at $1,000 to $60,000, that's 60x. In how many years? Less than 5 years. So, Richard, I hope our audience is satisfied with this and they can see clearly there's a heaven and earth difference in the two asset classes.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. So let's come to the, before I go to the last question, you know, we are all very passionate about Bitcoin. And that's the reason why we are organizing the Global Bitcoin Festival this October. And the reason is because we believe that Bitcoin is an amazing tools that we can use to create wealth for ourselves and for generation to come. So over the last 12 years, Bitcoin has appreciated 200% per year consistently for the last 12 years. Yeah. And even like in 1 year, it beat investing in gold. If you just, you know, exclude all those other logistical problem about gold, just on max, you know, one is 10 years for 100%, one is just 1 year for 200%, for not for 1 year, not for 5 years, but continuously for 10, 12 whole year. Now, so we are very passionate about Bitcoin and we want to expose Bitcoin to as many people as possible, right? Just amazing tools that they can use to create wealth. And we are organizing the Global Bitcoin Festival this October, and we need your support because the more people know about this is a movement, right? The more people know about it and adopt Bitcoin, the more powerful the movement will be. And you know, my goal is, or our goal is to have at least, you know, half the population of the world at least own a little bit of Bitcoin, including all of you, right, that own a lot more Bitcoin. Yeah, that is our goal, right, our vision. Now, and also this is this invitation is a contribution from Success Resources, myself and Clemen as a contribution, and the attendance to Global Bitcoin Festival is financed by us, right? Hopefully. Okay, now the last question for you, Dr. Clemen, is this question. And I know just now you mentioned about this ETF, right? And we all know that ETF will make a big difference to the price of Bitcoin. And we have been, in the last couple of videos, we've been talking about at the end of the year, and not just for ourselves. I mean, like a lot of experts say that Bitcoin will go to 100,000 at the end of the year. Now with this ETF, you mentioned that on the 14th of November, SEC either approve or disapprove ETF application by Vanchit, right? The first applicant. Now also Bloomberg mentioned that there is going to be an ETF in October, and that could also help to propel Bitcoin price to 100,000. Question to you, Dr. Clemen, is what do you think of the basis of this comment by the Bloomberg senior strategist?
Wow, that's a great question, Richard. And you know what? I'm going to kind of directly bring us to the very article that was published on 21st September itself. All right, here we go. Step one, citing step one right over here, as he says on the headline, citing a feasible US Bitcoin ETF debut by October. Bloomberg Senior Strategies calls for 100,000 BTC price. Now, there are a few arguments that he put forward right over here, and we call it the key takeaways. And I think I need all of you to really focus on the three major points, because we keep talking about low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit is coming October, November. There's 2 trigger dates already. And then after that, the entire floodgates will be opened up. Here we go. The name of the analyst is, or strategy is none other than Mike McGlone. So you guys can do a Google search on him. He says that most likely to be a futures-based ETF. And this is kind of a resounding with what we understand about Chairman Gary Gensler. He has said on multiple times on a video interview that he wants to propose a Bitcoin futures ETF to be approved first. Now, there are a few reasons for it, because he wants it to fall under the commodity side of things. He does not want it to fall on the security side of things, because he needs more time to iron out what is the regulation to proper regulate for ordinary investor. Third point, cryptocurrency ETF have been in high demand this year in the US. And this is, again, you guys can go and validate. Look around at the DeFi projects that's booming like crazy. Look at the NFTs, non-fungible tokens, that's booming like crazy. And then you understand why. And from here, I kind of just go it down. The main important date by end of October, which kind of coincide with Van Eck's Bitcoin ETF application deadline, which is 14th of November. So straight away, how I interpret this red box is you're going to narrow down. Okay, I got a 2 weeks window. I got to just nail it down on my calendar. Probably I'm going to put 31st October or 1st of November all the way to 14th of November. 2 weeks. I want to be very focused to think about these 2 weeks, what is going to happen. Because I can tell you that 2 weeks will be the most mind-blowing Bitcoin price fluctuation you're going to ever see in your life. All right. And the 2 weeks happened just right after our global Bitcoin festival. And we kind of plan it end of October, and kind of all these bits and pieces start to fall together at this moment. So it's really beautiful, because you're going to be kind of plugged into a community and a movement led by Richard, Success Resources, and myself. We are going out there, kind of put everyone together so that hold on tight. Together, there's unity, right? And then from here, you kind of push it further, his argument. Under US Securities Exchange Commission, the increasing number of ETF applications far over 30. You think about it. Do you think the guy is under pressure? He's dropping hair all over his head, you know? If you look at Chairman Gary Gensler, he cannot just turn down. He has to give a reasonable basis, or else the next thing what will happen is he will be fired. All right, as simple as that. Over 30 applications. And the next door neighbor, Canada, has already given approval. So he wants to take a conservative approach. That's the reason why I highlighted over here, approve a futures-based ETF, so that he throw it to the commodities department first and say, you guys take a look at it first, all right? While I figure things out in the securities market. And then from here, we are also looking at big names, fund managers like Katie Wood, ARK Invest. I mean, together, you know, I kind of figured this out in my mind. Why don't they come together and say, if you guys continue to reject us, SEC chairman, we're going to move all our money, our funds out of United States. Let's go somewhere that's more domicile friendly. Is that a possibility? Of course. That's the reason why everybody start telling chairman, you can do it and leave a lasting legacy in US books, or everybody going to start migrating out. That's a kind of a stuck unseen warning or hidden message, whatever you want to call it. But it's true. Why should you keep operating in an environment that doesn't tell you the yes or the no, and kind of in the gray area, right? Gray zone. So as a result, you know, chairman has to kind of take a step back and say, okay, hinted a futures base first, while he's trying to buy time to figure things out. All right, we kind of accept that. So as a result, McGlone says that this will drive the price to over or around 100,000 by the end of the year. Why? Because the powerful words is the floodgates for massive inflows of liquidity to the Bitcoin market. That's the moment that everybody is waiting for this year. And by the way, do you have to wait like 2-3 years? Hello? I think it's just about 2-3 months from our today's presentation, all right? So the rest of the article, you guys can go on and check it out. But to sum it up, this is the most powerful, what we call low-hanging fruit that is so near to us. We are in right now, end of September, 1 more month, October to go, right? And most of your children will be finishing their exams, kind of free up your mind. Step into November, holy moly. That is the holy moly month, November all the way to December. And I hope you can put your mind at rest. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen, for assuring us and telling us to be patient so that we don't miss the Bitcoin most bullish months ahead, which is right around the corner. Okay, we are organizing Global Bitcoin Festival this October. Is a gathering of industry expert and enthusiastic committee and passionate committee of Bitcoin holder to update, promote education and adoption of Bitcoin. So Dr. Clemen, as usual, can you just end us with a word, your 2 or 3 words on why every one of us should be at the Global Bitcoin Festival and that we should encourage all our friends to come to?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Richard, giving me this opportunity to share about this latest article dated on 20th of September. And I want to blow it up for everybody's attention. Institutional investors increased their crypto holdings for 5th straight week. Despite all that you are reading, all that you are seeing, all that you are interpreting, guess what? The big boys are lining up, all right? And the lineup will go all the way towards the Global Bitcoin Festival because we are officially right now 36 days counting down. And the event will be held on 28 and 29 of October. That's the 2 days you got to lock down on the calendar because we are so excited. You know what? We're going to have a really big names coming on board. And you can go and reserve your free spot right now. Absolutely free. We just want you to be part of the movement together with us. And here we go. These are already the confirmed speakers. Now, more importantly, there'll be more new names that'll be announced in the next few weeks. And I think this is the one that got me really excited. We have invitations from institutional players all the way to the traditional hedge fund managers, all the way to the crypto NQS, Bitcoin whales, and so on. Everybody will be coming on board for the Global Bitcoin Festival. Likewise, you should as well, but don't come alone. Please send this link, Global Bitcoin Festival, to your friends, to your colleagues. Everybody come in and look together. Apply our minds together and see, is there possibly any other blind spot? If not, we're going to hold our hands together and say, yeah, we are in it together. And this is going to be a long-lasting journey that we hope you will walk together with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Clemen. So this is a global Bitcoin movement. We invite all of you to join us. So thank you for joining us today, and we see you again on Friday. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.